Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too. The putting Fuanga on the left side.
Yeah, I know.
Starting off, we're going to work him primarily over on the left side, and then we'll evaluate it.
I gotta wonder if you think that's a good thing, bad thing.
But yet, that's where we're.
That's the only thing.
Now we wanted to get him a lot of work in this camp.
They don't have a lot of
No, I know.
Let's see if he can play.
I mean,
He hadn't had a lot of work on the left side.
I mean, it's a fresh face. I mean, who knows?
Give him some reps over there and see what he can do.
I'm not. And then I heard good stuff about Rattler with
well, yeah.
I mean, I'm not expecting him to take the field all that much this season, but
trying to get that feel back.
I'm
a little rusty over there on the left side.
I'm a little more. Like I said, you can't see a lot in rookie camp. I'm not a big.
Rattler discusses early work with the black and gold.
It's been awesome. It's been fun. Getting out here, just installing.
They look,
plays,
they're displaying their national anthem attributes.
Rookie mini camp.
The Saints.
Slither of the playbook.
Yeah.
But,
I can see that.
It's been fun to learn a lot of new things and go out there and just be efficient.
For more of our coverage of Saints rookie minicamp, head to WWL.com. And after LSU baseball took down Alabama 6-3 in Game 2 of their weekend series, the Bayou Bengals
and then obviously LSU's next series, they actually close it out. It's a little odd. They close out their SEC series with a Thursday, Friday, Saturday instead of Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, because of the camp.
Now, your Garcia Roofing
because of the
forecast
SEC
from
tournament, they
WWL.
want to get a little rest if they make it.
I feel like at this point, are they not a lock yet?
No, I don't think so. Not theoretically, no.
Isn't the way that it works?
First 12. No, they're 12. That's right, huh?
That, like every team.
Is that? Yeah. Why don't you check that? I don't know.
Into Tuesday, we'll expect batches of rain and storms, especially later Monday through early Tuesday, and some of that rain can get heavy at times. So watch for maybe some isolated street flooding early this week and a few stronger storms. It will be feeling pretty humid this week and will be warming up with temperatures in the 80s every day. Wednesday will be dry with temperatures near 90 degrees, but expect some more rain and storms coming in by Thursday and Friday. From WWL Louisiana,
it'll feature 12 teams.
12, yeah. Yeah, so they're probably in.
About to say, it features at least 12 teams.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico.
2 divisional champ and top 4 seeds guaranteed opening round buys.
Join us on the Oakwood Art Jewelers.
The other 13 through 12 or 3. Yeah, the rest are just like conference winning percentage.
Yeah.
Now to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans. Here are attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning, Doug Sunseri, Albert. Without Albert Nico, I'm flying solo today. Doug Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll have Michelle at 9 o'clock. You can give us a call at 260-1870 or text us on the Oakland Hard Talk and text line at 260-260. And we'll answer your text. Okay, for today at 9 o'clock, we're going to have Michelle, my wife. She's going to join us. The first hour is going to be very, very interesting. After the first break, we're going to have former federal magistrate judge Jay Wilkinson, who is going to talk about his book, A Lie Will Suffice. It is about his journey it's about family. So this is a family day, and I thought it was, it's basically his discovery of a very interesting background of his family that he did not know growing up. And he was a federal magistrate judge who presided over a lot of cases involving organized crime and mafia. And he found out later in life through a series of coincidences, I would say, or circumstances, that his family had a very interesting background. I'll leave it at that he didn't know they had. That goes back to Sicily, and he's going to talk about his journey to find out about his family's background and sort of just tell us about it. And so I will leave you hanging, but it's very, very fascinating. And if you like The Sopranos, in fact, Colin, I need you to cue up the Godfather music, the Louis Prima music for the next segments, because you'll have it ready, because it is, if you like The Godfather, you like The Sopranos, You like Goodfellas, you would probably like this story. So we're going to have him on, Judge Wilkinson, from about 8:25 till 9 o'clock. And at 9 o'clock, we'll just take our calls, uh, and we'll have Michelle. Usually when Michelle's on, we'll have, we'll talk about family law, and that sort of thing. In the meantime, Albert's taking care of Mother's Day preparations, and we'll wish all the moms happy Mother's Day. Linda, Dara, my wife Michelle, Maddie, Katie, Sharon, all the mothers in the in our family, and to all the mothers out there who do such a great job. And the moms don't get they do a lot of the dirty work. As far as that we don't, the things that we sort of just take for granted. So we just want to thank all the moms, and for the wonderful job you do. All right, Colin, did you work the baseball game Friday night?
Not yesterday or Friday night, but I did watch both.
Were you sick to your stomach Friday night?
I was disappointed. That's like the best way I can describe it. I was just disappointed.
Yeah. So where LSU baseball is right now, we're basically playing elimination games.
No, yeah. I mean, there's 4 down the stretch. I just put up the SEC standings. We were talking before we got on the air about how the top 12 teams are in the SEC tournament, and currently LSU's within that 12-team margin. They're the only 2 teams beneath them, ironically enough, because they're actually the 12th team, are Missouri, who's 8-18, and Auburn, who's 5-21. This is all in conference play, not their actual standings. And because of that, Missouri still has a chance. If we lose out and Missouri catches up, there's a chance we could fall out. So we do need to show up. We're not a lock in the SEC tournament. We're obviously not a lock in the field of 64. But Auburn is apparently out. They're gone.
Right.
So we just need to beat out Missouri.
So if we have to win this series. We have to win this series.
We have to win one of these 2 series because we play. God, who do we play again?
We play Ole Miss next week. We play Ole Miss.
We would need to win one of these series. And then in the field of 64, if we want to get into that, I think you need to sweep at this point. I think
right. That's what I'm saying.
And win the next 3.
Right.
But that's the only way you have a chance of getting into the NCAA tournament, and you're stretching it, going 5-1. That's even then. It's not like a 90% chance. It's like a 50-60% chance.
I think if they win the next 4, they get in. I think it's pretty high. Just being
they win out, and you think they're in.
Yes.
Okay. And if say they lose 1, they go 3-1 down this 4-game stretch.
They have to win today. They could possibly sneak in 2-1 against Ole Miss and have a good run in the SEC. Possibly.
I do think that could happen, but would you rather them show up to the SEC and do you think they have a shot of winning that or no?
Do they have from a number standpoint? It would be difficult. Now, otherwise, you're going to have a lot of the Arkansas, A&Ms, Kentuckys, and Tennessees. When you go in as a high seed. Some of the coaches prepare for the World Series, and they're not so much trying to win the SEC, much like LSU last year. We wasn't really we sat Tommy White during the SEC tournament because we wanted him to be rested because he had a hurt shoulder at the time. He was playing with a hurt shoulder all year, and he needed rest. So what I think is the top 3 or 4 teams will be pitching maybe their 5th, 6th, 7th pitcher in the tournament to give them some experience and get them ready for the regional, super regional, and World Series. And in that context, the pitching may not be as daunting than a 3-game series. Because I think of the top teams, I don't think winning is a priority. I think they have rest their players, pitch some pitchers in some pressure situations that they hadn't been in. And so
there will be teams in the SEC tournament that will likely host a regional, probably multiple teams. So
I would say 6.
There you go. And so you kind of have to sit there and go, they're gonna think of the bigger picture. That's what we did last year. That's what they'll do this year.
And that's the only thing that will be helpful for us because we will be throwing the kitchen sink at each team. So that's but there's so many teams too. You got 12 teams, and you they really. You know what was an interesting stat for the LSU teams? Like you had Jared Jones with 20 home runs and 45 RBIs.
Yeah.
Look, 20 home runs is great, but 45 RBIs with 20 home runs is not a good ratio. I mean, the part about the 20 home runs is.
Yeah.
But you would think you'd have 60, 65 RBIs.
Something like that, yeah.
And part of that, I think, is they're not playing complementary baseball in the sense of, well, they're starting to. They've been 7-2, but in the beginning of the year, when one thing was going, the other thing was not.
No,
when they had,
we fell flat for the first 5 weeks of SEC play.
Right. You know, when we had the pitching going, our hitting was dead. When we had the hitting going, our pitching was dead.
No, it was a seesaw, and we couldn't get it balanced.
Yes, and so it's just a. I think some of it's youth. You're starting to see some of the players play. You see Milan.
Milam. Yeah, you've seen like the new guard, the new
right.
faces.
Yeah, so we're starting to see some of the young guys that are progressing. You know, like Pearson. You know, he's batting fourth, but he's batting .232.
Yeah.
I mean, who did we have batting fourth last year? Dylan Cruz. Dylan Cruz. Or Dylan Cruz or Tommy White.
It's not even just that. You listen to the coverage of the games and everything like that, and like even the fielding or defense, like missing out on Trey Morgan on first base is like he was one of the best first basemen we probably ever had.
Right. The best defensive player, like first baseman, probably maybe in the history of SEC, one of the best.
It's bittersweet is the perfect word to describe it, but it really goes to show just how good our team was last year.
And I call it the the expectations. Is that anything less than a national championship is a disappointment. I mean, maybe if they got to the World Series, they would say, okay, it wasn't a total loss, but the expectations are raised so high. So you got first pitch at 1 o'clock. First pregame at 12:30, and so now, okay, us husbands, we have to keep one eye on the game. Can't keep both eyes today because it's Mother's Day. So we have the compromise. We have my wife likes country music, so she plays country music on on the speakers outside. But we'll keep the LSU game on mute, so we can peek and so watch what's going on there. Also, Saints minicamp. Now, minicamp's a big deal because it's football, and you have to, because that's all that's happening with football. But as far as minicamp's concerned, I don't put a lot of stock into what comes out of minicamp.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think minicamp is a display of your national anthem attributes, meaning all the physical the things at the combine, how fast you run, all those type of things.
Yeah.
It's like, flag football. But it's not football. And so
I'd say it's a bit more. It toes the line between like the fanfare and the showiness of like, we got this player. Here's what he's gonna do for us. Before you actually get on the field, like this is the happy middle. Like this is the happy medium. This is the not kind of interview you get post draft, but also not the very raw and rough game one of the preseason. It's a bit of both.
Yes.
So your expectations, there should be maybe some there, but not. You shouldn't be expecting these guys to come in and do either sides of the spectrum, being they show up like they don't know their left foot from the right foot, or they show up like they're the next Tom Brady. You shouldn't know. Like, you should expect them to kind of as Dennis Allen has been saying throughout rookie minicamp or whatever, that like these guys, they kind of have to learn how to walk again. They got to get back into the business of football.
Right. Well, and like for a lot of these teams that have drafted these quarterbacks, there's 6 quarterbacks that have been drafted in the first round.
Yeah, in the first 12. Yeah.
I would say that 3 of them will make it and 3 of them won't. I mean, statistically.
Make it in what sense? Like start this year, or
no, have a career worthy of being a first round pick.
I'm assuming here you're gonna go. Obviously, Daniels and
but
who's the third?
I don't know. I mean, like even Daniels, you had RG3,
Yeah.
Robert Griffin. He had a similar type of fanfare, and he got injuries, got sidetracked. There's a lot. It's just there's a lot more to it. Now I do think I'd rather have Daniels than Caleb Williams. I'm a little worried about Caleb Williams between the years because they were saying the same thing about Fields 4 years ago, and they shipped Fields off for not a lot.
Not really, no.
I mean, what, a fifth, sixth round pick or whatever, and
Yeah, no, it was
they gave up on him. And last year you had Bryce Young and you had the Houston quarterback from Ohio State, Stroud. Who would have thought that that they would be saying, is Young going to make it? Is he an NFL quarterback? Can he make the adjustment? Can he make the leap? Is he? We don't know, and so you just don't know how it's going to translate. But here's the dilemma: is the teams have to hype these quarterbacks in order to get the fan base involved.
No, I mean I saw people tweeting the other day about I think it was day one of Bears minicamp, and they were like, a tweet I saw with like the Chicago Bears, like it was from Schefter of all people. I was like, okay, usually if I see something across my feed from like Schefter or Rappaport, I'm like, okay, this could be big. And he's like, the Bears have officially listed Caleb Williams as their starter, and I'm like, come on, I could have bet $1 million on that and won $2 back. Like but you have to, the fanfare, you have to make a show of it. Like this is our guy, and I personally believe I think he's got a real shot at being like having a successful and no, I think he has. I think he's got to be a real successful.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sort of mixed about him, and only because you don't know how cognitively, because the most important thing about the NFL is processing. Jamarcus Russell, is that you don't have to use certain skills in college to be a pro. And so processing is the most. Like you can use your physical abilities to compensate for maybe your cognitive ability to process on the field. And so you don't know that skill just yet until they get to the NFL, because the windows you have to throw to are a lot tighter. The decision making has to be a lot quicker. You can't like run. The linebackers and defensive ends who are rushing you have 4.4 speed also. So you can't use those skills in college to maybe buy some time, wait for a receiver to shake loose and become open. You have to have that processing skill. And I think Drew Brees said the three most important attributes of a NFL quarterback is accuracy, processing, and getting the ball out. Yeah. And so those skills are the ones. And like a Drake May, he could be another Mac Jones, or he could be really good. Michael Penix, you're not going to know unless Kirk Cousins gets hurt.
That's what I want to hold you to an answer before we move on to like schemes or anything. I want to hold you to an answer. You said 3. Come on, out of everybody else, apart from Daniels, Williams, May, Penix Jr. and Nix, like who and McCarthy, who do you think is going to be the third that could have a shot? And who's the second? Because you said
I could say all of them could fail. All of them have the possibility of not being in the league 5 years.
So Daniels is your most confident.
Yeah, only because of his ability to improve, like to like his processing, his way to adjust. I mean, I think he had a lot of. Caleb Williams did not progress. I mean, he was great, but in a lot of distractions, he had a lot of distractions that took him off course. And I don't think any of them have a shoe in. I really don't.
No, personally, I'm with. I think it's Williams, it's Daniels, and it's Penix. Yeah. But I've got a big caveat with Penix. As a player, I think he has a serious future in the league.
Yeah, I do. I like.
In his current situation, out of all the picks you have in that first round, he's the one I'm most concerned about his future.
Well, I think I think he might have been one of the most play-ready quarterbacks. I mean, I think you could have stuck him in.
That's the ironic.
And then he's going to sit.
You've got 21-year-olds that are NFL ready or maybe not NFL ready, starting immediately with J.J. McCarthy up in Minnesota, and then you've got 24-year-olds both in Bo Nix and in Penix Jr. who are sitting there like, okay, what are we gonna not be on the field as a starter until we're 27, 26?
Right, that's right. That's right.
Doesn't make any sense.
All right, and Paul Skeens went last night and 7 strikeouts. So
incredible performance.
17.
He had seven
strikeouts.
pitch, 7 strikeouts.
17 pitches over 100.
He 6.7 ERA. He had 84 pitches thrown with a 54 strike count, 60%.
Wow.
I mean, the mustache looked great. His performance looked great. Like, you can't. Okay, here is he with the team now through the end of the year? I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Come on, are you kidding me? Like, you've got to keep him on.
He'll be all-star by next year. There you
Absolutely.
go. So, all right, let's go to break. We're going to have former magistrate Judge Jay Wilkinson on, talk about his book, A Lie Will Suffice. Very, very interesting. If you like The Sopranos, you like The Godfather, you'll like the next couple of segments. So stay tuned on All Things Legal on this Mother's Day edition. See you in a minute.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore.
More big events happening. Trump in court.
The election.
Israel, Iran, and Gaza.
All right, I'm gonna give him, if you want to as well, because you want to, really give him some time. I can for the later break try to push some stuff.
Yeah, push him back. Yeah, push it.
Is the IRS on your back? Hi, this is Caitlin with Go Tax Resolution. If you've received a letter from the IRS or state demanding payment for back taxes, give the pros at Go Tax Resolution a call. Our team of former IRS agents and passionate resolution specialists will get to work right away. Owing the IRS can be scary, but you don't have to do it alone. Give us a call today at 985-722-1040 and let us give you peace of mind. Or go online to gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
Hi, I'm Sam with Go Tax Resolution. Some claims for the Employee Retention Tax Credit will expire this year. Now is the time to call and see if you qualify. Call Go Tax Resolution at 985-722-1040 before they expire. The Employee Retention Tax Credit is a refund that businesses may qualify for if they maintain their employees during the pandemic. Some credits will expire this year. Contact Go Tax Resolution at 985-722-1040 or gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
Take a few minutes to see the timeless beauty of our diamond fashion and stud earrings at Oakland Heart Jewelers. Natural diamond earrings from Oakland Heart have a fire and brilliance second to none. There's a great work of art in every box from Oakland Heart on Metairie Road.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. Website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but it's 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it.
Okay.
And I moved some stuff around, so we're looking at about 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nico and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinion shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, All Things Legal on a Mother's Day edition. And we don't have guests very often, but when we do, they're good. And we wanted to bring a guest. Former federal magistrate judge, proud lifelong West Bank resident, Red Sox fan, LSU grad, Tulane Law School grad, and one of his greatest accomplishments, graduating from Shaw High School We got the former magistrate judge, Joseph Wilkinson, or better known as Jay. Thank you for joining us, Jay.
Doug, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
And we're not going to, I promise you, we're not going to talk about law because you've had enough to last you a lifetime. Aside from the fact that
you know, it is all things legal, and you know, my book is kind of like a trial, Doug.
It is. It is. So we won't talk about we'll talk about how the intersection between what you did for 25 years down on Camp Street and your book. And I wanted to have you on there because you had a book about a family. Now, this isn't probably not a Hallmark family. I think that would be fair to say. But it is very, very interesting. You did a book on the background of your family. And why don't you set it up as to, how this came into existence and how you went down this trail to research the history of your family, and what did you know about it when you started?
Well, sure. First of all, thank you for having me on Mother's Day. I think it's particularly appropriate. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, but to me it's particularly appropriate for me to talk about this on Mother's Day because the book's dedicated to my mother, and it was my mother who challenged me basically in 2009 to go down this path. Without her prompting me to do this in 2009, it would never have been done. And I'm convinced that my mother, who died a few years ago, wanted me to do it because she wanted to know the truth herself. But it all got started in 2009. And at that time, my mother was Anne Gwynta Wilkinson. She was the product of Sicilian immigrants. And I'm really proud of my mother because when all of her 7 children were finally in school in 1968, all in the same school at the same time, she went back to school herself. And she earned bachelor's and master's degrees in nursing. She was valedictorian of her classes. She became one of the first licensed nurse practitioners in Louisiana, and later she became an oncology hematology researcher at Tulane Medical Center.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, Doug, by 2009, when I was still on the bench and, in my 50s, you could not have found a better example of fully accomplished American womanhood than my mother. And I really believe that. But it was early in 2009 when on a Sunday, I heard a knock on my side door, and I opened it, and there was my mother standing there with a file folder in her hands and this grimace on her face, and she shoved the folder into my gut, and she said, "Here, people lied to me my whole life. Why'd they have to lie to me so much?" And I was, kind of stunned. I said, "What lies are you talking about, Mom?" She says, "Never mind. One day you're going to write a book about my family and it won't be so pretty." She gives me the file folder and she comes sits down on my sofa. I open the file folder up and there's 2 microfiche copies of newspaper articles from the front page of the Times-Picayune and the New Orleans States from May 1921. And the headlines were about these mafia gang war murders that had occurred. And I glance down through the first story, and I see in the 3rd paragraph, there's a phrase that says assassination of Dominic DiGiovanni. Well, Dominic DiGiovanni was my mother's great uncle, my mother's uncle, and my great uncle, and he was killed in this mafia gang war. Now that's the first time I'd ever heard anything like
that. So basically, you found out at that point, that was the first clue that maybe you didn't know the full history of your family, and it set you off on this journey.
Yeah, that was a pretty big clue, right? And I don't know, judging from the expression on my mother's face, and a lot of people don't believe me when I say this. "Oh, how could your mother not have known this?" But I'm just telling you, I don't think she knew it herself because, our family, the DiGiovanni family's got a spot in a mausoleum in the old Italian section of Lake One Metairie Cemetery on Avenue B. It's a very historic spot. And Uncle Dominic is the first name on on the mausoleum spot, 1921. So whenever we would go down there to bury somebody, some youngster like myself would look at Dominic's name and see that he died when he was only 25 years old and say something like, "Oh, poor Uncle Dominic, how did he die so young?" And all the old people would say, "Oh, it was a terrible accident, a big mistake. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time." And that's about all they'd say. So I don't think my mother knew the details of this herself.
Now,
and,
now this is sort of interesting because as a federal magistrate, you would preside over cases involving organized crime and mafia, and at that time, you had no idea. I mean, for a portion of your career, that you were presiding over something that in essence, your uncles and great uncles were a life, were part of, I guess.
Not only that, okay. When I was appointed in 1995, I had passed a full field FBI background and IRS background investigation, and I later learned that my grandfather and my great uncles had all been convicted in a bootlegging prosecution in the same court where I was then sitting. So look, I'm just going to tell you that as I slowly, and it was very slowly. It took me 12 years because I had another job for most of that time. I couldn't devote my full time to this, but as I slowly learned about some of this stuff, every now and then I just have to pause and take a break and calm down a little bit.
Well, look, I found when I read the book, and when I read the book about a year and a half ago, it took me about 2 days. You had an aunt, a sweet aunt, that had an interesting background. That, if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Well, yeah, my favorite aunt. She was my favorite great aunt, and my grandmother's closest sister and best friend, really. Well, when I first started to research this, I did this old school, Doug. I went down to the New Orleans Public Library one day, and on the second floor, they've got what they call the Louisiana collection, and in there they've got all of the old New Orleans Police Department arrest records arranged in card catalogs alphabetically by last name. So one of the first things I did was go down there and look underneath for DiGiovanni, which was my grandmother's family name, to see if any of my people had ever been arrested. And my great-grandfather Gaetano, the head of the family, he'd never been arrested. Some of the great-uncles, they'd been arrested for this and that, including Uncle Dominic for bootleg. And then I'm flipping through, and there's another one under D. Lucia, my aunt. And I said, Jim, what is this? And I look at it, and she was arrested for murder. And, I went down the hall where they had all the court records and the newspaper articles, and I spent about 2 hours looking through it. Well, she was arrested in the early 30s. She shot her fiance 4 times in the back and killed him when she found out he was married.
Yes.
But she was arrested. She went to trial, and she was found not guilty.
She beat the rap.
Yeah.
Even
though she admitted shooting the guy, but there were all kinds of circumstances, and the jury acquitted her.
Now,
I tell you, I had never heard that story before. Now, maybe others in the family had. I had not. And when I brought those things down to my mother to show her in 2011, I stood there and watched her read through the newspaper articles and the other things, and I swear I could tell that she had never heard that herself.
Now, and you went all the way back to Sicily in part of your old school research, and I know you did it old school. And your old school research, you went all the way back to the 1860s, I think, in Sicily, and your great-great-grandfather, and sort of tracked how they got to America.
That's right.
And, in 1 or 2 minutes before we go to a break, why did they want to come to America, and what kind of conditions were they living in Sicily, where they said America was like a land of opportunity?
Well, I hypothesized that there were 3 reasons they came to America. First, my great-grandfather Gaetano DiGiovanni and his wife, Angelina DiGiovanni. They first came to America on a labor contract to work on a Texas lumber camp in 1896. They worked there for 5 years, and then they came over to New Orleans. But I suspect there were three reasons why they came here. First of all, my great-grandfather Gaetano was a man of, native intelligence and ambition who, was from nothing really in Sicily, and he was already engaged as a mafiosi in the cattle rustling business over there. And he saw America as a place where he could, take advantage of his native gifts and opportunities and advance himself. The second reason I hypothesized was there was a mafia gang war going on in Sicily at the time they left, and he was mafiosi, and he was the grandson of a documented mafia leader in the little town where he came from, which was Centoporella.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a wife and children, and he wanted to protect them from that. But also, my great-grandmother Angelina was blind. She couldn't see any of her children, and there wasn't any medical care available in Sicily.
Wow,
it was
wow.
dirt poor.
Wow.
So I think he wanted to get some medical care for her, which he did when he came to America.
There you go. We're going to take a break. If you can, I appreciate you. I know you're preparing for Mother's Day at home, and I appreciate you staying with us. But we're going to take a break. And what I want to ask you about is, what is it about culturally where you didn't find out? What was part of the reasons as to, I guess, the cultural manifestation where they wouldn't tell you about it and, let you know about the family history? But we got to take a break. Doug Sunseri with former federal magistrate judge and author Jay Wilkinson. A Lie Will Suffice. You can get it at a local bookstore. Go to the local interest section, and we'll talk a little bit more about the book right after this brief time out.
WWL, the news talks.
All right, I'm moving things around.
Yeah.
If our breaks in the next hour are a little long, you know why.
Yeah. That's all right. That's all right. It's gonna be.
Not many people are.
Yeah, I'm moving stuff around.
Yeah. If we could do that, that would be great.
I'm like taking apart a puzzle and then making it.
Yeah.
New Orleans is my home, and it's really awesome that so many people.
Like normally, this break would be like anywhere from like 3 to 5 minutes. I made it about like a minute, 2.5.
On a legendary station, and still hipper.
So you want to try to
Let's go
what you
to
want to try to do here is you want to try to carry this to like 53 or so.
53, and then
come back with like less than a minute.
Yes, exactly. And I'm gonna cut them loose. On this segment.
And then we'll end it here.
Yeah.
We guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free.
We had one person text in, if you did want to build on it towards the end of the hour, someone said the mustache looked good, the arm looked good, and the girlfriend looked good for Paul's game.
Yeah.
He's got everything going up.
Yeah, yes.
Everything's coming up.
Backyard barbecue. When you find a professional on Angie.
I'm going to upload the interview as well to your page. So it'll be
perfect.
Hour 1, interview hour 2.
Connect with skilled professionals to get all your home projects done well. Inside to outside. Repairs.
We got to tell Albert about this guy next week.
Get started
I know.
He missed out.
You can do this when you Angie that.
Gold is at an all-time high. Take advantage of the market and call Southern Coins today. SCBM.com.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
Here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
All right, we're coming back.
Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Come on, stop it.
All things legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back with former retired federal magistrate Jay Wilkinson, or Giuseppe Wilkinson, who's author of Lie Will Suffice. Jay, you, in connection with finding out about this family history, you happen to randomly hire a law clerk who had a connection with you. You want to talk about that for a couple of minutes?
Sure. I didn't hire him, actually. The chief judge of the court
Okay.
at the time hired him. But after he was hired, he was assigned to work for me. And he was a really good guy. He's still practicing in New Orleans. He's just an outstanding human being as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, he comes in my office one day before Christmas to talk about some case we're working on. And I said, so, Johnny Q, what are you going to do for Christmas? He says, I'm going to go to my mother's house and I'm going to make some Italian fig cookies. I said, oh, that's great. Gucci Dotti? He said, yeah, Gucci Dotti. I said, wonderful. I love Gucci Dotti. When you after you come back, bring me a little bag, will you? All right. So now we're back at work after the holidays, and I'm in my office, trying to concentrate on something. My secretary buzzes in and says, Judge, Johnny Q is here. He wants to see you right now. I said, tell him to come back later. I'm busy right now. And my secretary said, well, he really insists that he needs to see you right away. I said, all right, come on in. So in he comes, and I raise up. I say, all right, John, what was it that's so important that you had to interrupt me? He said, here, I brought you the bag of Gucci Dotti that you asked for. I said, that's why you interrupted me? He said, yeah, here. I want you to taste one right now. I said, all right, John. I took one and I tasted it, and oh my goodness, it was absolutely wonderful, delicious. The pastry was light and fluffy. The fig stuffing was sweet, and it was just wonderful. I said, God, goodness, John, this tastes just like my great grandma's Gucci Dotti. And he said, well, it should. It's her recipe. I said, what are you talking about? He says, I'm the grandson of your Uncle Vito, your great Uncle Vito. We have the same great grandparents. Well, it turns out he was John Quaglino, who was my second cousin.
Yes.
And, God forgive me, but at that time I hadn't really connected with, all of my Sicilian heritage and all, and I didn't. But, he's standing there offering me these Gucci Dottis. I take a hard look at him, and wouldn't you know it, he's a spitting image of my Uncle Vito, who we all called Uncle Walter growing up.
And the Quaglinos ended up being a very good resource for your book also. So they...
Well, yeah. Johnny's mother vetted it for me and, told me a few stories that I actually added down. And,
now,
I'm going to take credit for this, John, if you're listening out there. But after he read the book, John got his family together. They all went on a trip to Sicily to visit where we came from.
See, va bene. That's great. Okay, we got a couple of minutes to wrap it up. Now, just tell me about the title and how that sort of ties into the cultural aspect of a Sicilian family with that type of background.
Well, my grandmother, Antonia DiGiovanni was a delightful person, a jokester, and she had a saying that she used to say in Sicilian dialect when we were kids growing up. She would say, Piccidiria verità quana la fantasia ci basta, which means why tell the truth when a lie will suffice. And, you know, growing up, I thought she was just joking around in her usual way. Well, it turned out, I mean, you know, that not exactly telling the truth about things, and sometimes, you know, avoiding the truth by omission was just part of the culture. Now you got to realize we're talking about my people who came of age in 19th and early 20th century Western Sicily, rural Western Sicily. And, you know, as I tried to understand some of the things that they had done and some of the things, you know, the way they were, because I love these people, Doug. I mean, these were my people growing up. I thought I was Italian growing up. Well, I did a lot of research into the history and culture and sociological circumstances of Western Sicily from where they came. And what I discovered is that, you know, let's call it evasion of the truth was part of the culture, that it was part of the way you thought and acted. And it came from basically the fact that Sicily of that time was constantly being conquered by this, you know, empire and that empire, and the local people out of those constant conquests and having been ruled by foreigners, you know, they developed a culture of distrust for the authority and you know, evasion of the truth, because you didn't want the authorities to know the truth. And so, look, I hope this is not too boring, but I'm going to give you a little brief couple of quotes that I came across as I tried to understand this culture. And they're from some famous Italian historians, Luigi Barzini and Francesco Guicciardini. And the quotes go something like this. Sicilians have been accused of not having a sufficient respect for the truth, and yet they know the truth when they see it. They are no fools, but collectively they seem sometimes to forget truth's unique importance. They often ignore it, embellish it, and broader around it, deny it as the case may be. They lie to please, to round off a picture, to provoke an emotion, to prove a point. It's Guicciardini who said that truthfulness should be ordinarily preferred, but without abandoning deception altogether. So, you know, it working around the truth and maybe slanting it, you know, I'm trying to be kind to my ancestors here, was part of the culture. It was part and parcel of it. You know, they didn't mean anything, you know, necessarily evil by it. It was just the way.
The survival. I got you.
Right.
Okay, and if anybody wants to get the book, what are some of the platforms and outlets they can get the book?
Well, you can get it on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. I know it's on the shelves at a few places, but you can basically walk into any bookstore, and if it's not on the shelf, you can go and they'll order it for you. You know, I have some in my own custody that I go around selling at speeches that I give.
And
so,
and also the one I saw on Barnes and Noble, it had your autograph in there too. So there you go. I saw that one. So okay, well, I could have talked to you for an hour. I know you got to go back and get your ladies, get ready for the ladies and the moms in your family. I wish happy Mother's Day to your daughters, your wives, and just thanks so much for your recitation. I could have kept you to 10, but I didn't, and so. Very, very fascinating.
You can have me back whenever you want.
I will.
We can talk about the legal aspects. I did a continuing legal education.
I saw that.
Based on the book at the Louisiana Supreme Court.
And the best part, it was free. It was a free CLE. I can't believe I missed it. But thanks so much, Jay, and you know, good luck on the book sales, and great talking to you again. And happy Mother's Day, and thanks for joining us. We got to go to a break. Doug Sunseri. Thanks, Doug Sunseri. All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Get the WWL shows you
ran long.
delivered to your phone.
It's okay. I can work with it.
The Odyssey.
You know me. I can work with it. I'm gonna try to get a gauge of how long this is.
Scoot.
And then we'll figure out what we do.
Or tell your smart speaker.
We ran long, but that was a good. We never have bad reasons
about the Saints at
Yeah.
LSU on WWL.
I could have kept him for an hour and a half. He had to go.
I know you could have.
Start with
I didn't even get into it, really.
You're probably like, you're probably gonna be like, Michelle, guess who we had on today?
Yeah, I know. She knows him. We've been out with him a few times.
Call 444-4444. That's 444-4444.
All right, I'm trying to do the math. I think
you can fall in love at first sight.
we'll have like
but a
less
natural
than a minute
diamond.
here.
Well, that
I
takes
think
Mother
I
Nature
moved stuff
millions of years to
around
create.
enough.
Take a few minutes to see the timeless beauty of our diamond fashion and stud earrings at Oakland Heart.
I'll get a.
Listen to this review from Vicky. I am one extremely happy customer. I never felt such warm.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a little less than a minute.
Excellent customer service as I did today.
Because I'll probably just do music no rejoin.
Yeah,
Not
just
once
going.
did they know how much I planned on spending. It was because they cared about my wants and what I was trying to accomplish. Thanks, Vicky. We value our customers' experiences. Natural diamond earrings from Oakland Heart have a fire and brilliance second to none. Each diamond is personally chosen by a member of the Oakland Heart family. We buy direct, which means we can offer them to you for less. At Oakland Heart, you'll find the perfect gift to celebrate a love that's as enduring as a
Interview
natural
will
diamond.
be on the
There's a
Odyssey
great work of art in every box from Oakland
website
Heart.
under All Things
Hey,
Legal.
it's Tommy Tucker, and among the
Here
things
you
I'll
can
never do
download.
again, change my own oil. Why would I?
Yeah, I'm
when
gonna
Speedy
upload
Oil
that.
Change
It'll be
and
up
Auto Service
before
has been around
by
for over
like
40
10:30 or
years.
so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get it up during this next hour.
And if that check engine light comes on, pull into your neighborhood Speedy location. They'll diagnose, solve whatever situation you have. Speedy savings are right in the palm of your hand. Simply go to SpeedyNewOrleans.com for big money savings coupons, including $15 off your next oil change. That's SpeedyNewOrleans.com.
Hi, this is Earl Ron, president of New South Window. New South makes windows that are energy efficient and hurricane resistant.
Yeah, I'll try to get that up during this next hour.
It's the middleman.
At the latest, the interview will be up by like.
Yeah, I just let them know.
35% off. Visit New South.
I had them on when I was doing the rotation for the Ida. Like I was doing like 4 hours.
Go to New Orleans.
Like I would take a shift after the Ida.
New York.
Like
I wasn't here for that.
yeah.
So how did that work?
Well, we all take shifts. Like I would take.
You go to the bed.
You know.
At California Psychic.
We were 24/7, so I would take maybe a 4. Huh?
Would you just talk about anything?
No, it was about the Hurricane Ida.
Okay.
It was all Hurricane Ida legal, and I had him on for 3 or 4 hours one time because he presided over the Hurricane Katrina cases, and just to help people deal with that issue.
Is now Angie. We're so much more than just a list. We still connect you with top local pros and show you ratings and reviews, but now we also let you compare upfront prices on hundreds of projects and book a service instantly. We can even handle the rest of your project from start to finish. So remember, Angie's List is now Angie, and we're here to get your job done right. Get started at Angie.com. That's
I'm gonna do music no rejoin.
Okay, I'll get in
Try
there.
to count you
Yeah.
down.
Okay.
And here, the NFL draft.
We'll have like a little. We'll have about like 40 to 50.
Okay.
Puts you right.
So we can be quick with something.
Conversation with the biggest sports radio stations from across the country. The local voices who know you.
We don't have to be in and out too fast.
Their unfiltered takes on the current state of your squad. It's always football season on the free Odyssey app. That's
coming to you in 5, 4.
Download it today.
Hey, we're back. We ran long with Judge Jay Wilkinson. I could have kept him for an hour and a half, and I'm going to have him back, but I'm going to tell him he's got to stay almost for an hour and a half because his book was very, very interesting, and as far as also the interplay with him being a federal magistrate for 25 years. So hour number 2, we'll have Michelle's going to be joining us on this Mother's Day, and we will just take your legal questions, and we'll be on it till 10 o'clock, and stay tuned for LSU baseball, which is our first pitch 1 o'clock pregame at 12:30. So keep your dial. Keep your dial. It sounds very, very old school on WWL, and while you're having your Mother's Day activities. So we're going to be back, and stay tuned for national news, local news. We'll be back for hour number 2 on all things legal. We'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Nice, you're clear for a bit.
Leader, WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Christopher Cruz. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is defending President Biden's decision to pause the delivery of large bombs to Israel, while the U.S. determines whether Israel has used American weapons in Gaza in violation of international law. Blinken was interviewed on CBS's Face the Nation by moderator Margaret Brennan.
The only thing that we've delayed and are holding back are these high payload bombs because we're in an ongoing conversation with Israel, given the impact that those weapons can have when they're used in densely populated areas, including an area like Rafah. So we're in an active conversation with Israel about that. We have real concerns about the way they're used.
Israeli troops are attacking some areas of Rafah today where they believe Hamas militants are operating. The BBC's Paul Adams in Jerusalem says some Israelis continue to demand the resignation of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Angry protests again last night. These people want the war to stop and the government to go, and for much more to be done to bring hostages home.
3 Atlanta police officers were wounded in a struggle with a man on the street who was carrying a gun and a knife. This man saw it go down yesterday afternoon.
I saw a guy, and he was being confronted by the police, and they were yelling at him, telling him to put the gun down, put the gun down.
The man was killed. 2 of the officers had to undergo surgery. They are all expected to survive. Swiss singer Nemo has won the Eurovision Song Contest with The Code, an ode to the singer's journey toward embracing their non-gender identity.
It stands for balance, and that balance can only be found through movement and fluidity, which I think is just such a nice image for the gender fluid community all over the world. So we chose the spinning top as the metaphor.
It's Mother's Day. You knew that, right? Well, for Mother's Day, CBS's Stacey Lynn spoke with a number of children about their moms.
What does your mom do that you appreciate the most?
Sweeps and folds your laundry and puts them in the dryer. Taking care of us and doing like house chores and stuff.
Did you get her a gift for Mother's Day?
This is what my mom always says. I asked her, what would you like? And she never says anything buying from a store that costs anything. She likes hugs and kisses.
What do you love the most about your mom?
1, because she's my mom. 2, because she never lets us down. You know, if you have your mom, you can't name everything because it is everything.
Stacey Lynn.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
CBS News.
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Why do so many dogs suffer from weight issues, skin problems, messy poops, and low energy? It could be the popular dog food you put in their bowl each day.
Cody was sleeping a lot, wasn't playing.
She was very lethargic and not moving around. Dry kibble just wasn't cutting it.
That's why, after more than 45 years of experience of helping dogs make complete health turnarounds, veterinarian Dr. Marty created Nature's Blend. It's a freeze-dried raw dog food made with wholesome ingredients like premium meats, seeds, vegetables, and fruit. And once dog parents switch their pups to Nature's Blend, the results can be astounding.
She's got her energy back. She's running around like she did like 5 years ago.
Miraculously, she's just feeling all around better. She's like a new dog. Thank you, Dr. Marty.
Get your dog started today and save up to 54% off Nature's Blend. Plus, receive a free pack of our best-selling beef liver dog treats. Go to drmartypets.com/good or text GOOD to 511-511. Text GOOD to 511-511. All dogs are unique. Your dog's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
WWL First News, I'm Chris Miller. Happy Mother's Day. A little warmer today.
We'll see more cloud cover on our Mother's Day. Feeling a little more humid today, too, with high temperatures warming to the mid-80s in the afternoon. Most of us staying dry today, but there is a chance for a few passing showers and storms tonight, especially on the North Shore.
WWL TV meteorologist Alexa Trishler's forecast is coming up. New Orleans police are investigating a triple shooting in the Holy Cross neighborhood overnight. Officers arriving on the scene last night shortly before 10:45 found one man shot in the 1000 block of Lazardi Street. A short time later, 2 more men arrived at the local hospital who had also been shot at that scene. LSU beat Alabama Saturday in Tuscaloosa.
And the first pitch, Tommy hammers this one. Left center field. Going back, this one comes off the top of the screen. That will score Braswell. Here comes Milam. Tommy White with back-to-back doubles. Safe at second base. Drives in 2 runs, and LSU takes a 2-1 lead.
LSU Radio's Chris Blair. The game ties the series at 1 apiece. The rubber match comes up this afternoon at 1. Coverage from LSU Radio Network starts at 12:30 here on WWL. Charlie Long has more coming up in sports. New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell is traveling again on the heels of a trip to a climate conference in Montreal. The mayor is now in the Gulf region at a climate conference in Qatar.
This WWL Sports Update is brought to you by People's Health. The LSU baseball team earned a huge bounce-back victory over Alabama, taking Game 2 against the Tide 6-3.
Guidry fires the 0-2. Breaking ball.
Shell on the way?
Yeah,
McCants down on strikes. Tigers win. They even up the series at 1 game apiece.
Tigers got a trio of stellar performances on the mound. Luke Holman got the start for LSU and tossed 5 2/3 innings, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits against his former team. Nate Ackenhausen stranded 5 runners in his short outing.
Let me know how. Give me a
test.
Little low.
Tommy White got LSU scoring going with a 2-run double.
You can probably turn it up really
high.
Oh, yeah.
And then
I'll
I had it on. Test. That's
good.
Going back, this one comes off the top of the screen. That will score Braswell. Here comes Milam. Tommy White with back-to-back doubles. Safe at second base. Drives in 2 runs, and LSU takes a 2-1 lead.
And Josh Pearson and Michael Braswell led the Tigers to a 3-run 7th inning.
Moses 0-1 delivery. And Braswell.
Good morning and happy Mother's Day, Michelle.
Thank you.
Again on the run. Dives, and he can't get to it. Bounces underneath the center fielder. That will score Pearson. Braswell around second, and he will slide in with a triple. Driving in a run to make it 5-2 LSU.
With the 6-3 win, LSU improved to 10-16 in SEC play. And now we have a winner-take-all Game 3 set up today with a potential 4th straight SEC Series victory on the line for the Tigers. First pitch from Tuscaloosa is at 1 p.m. with pregame at 12:30 right here on WWL. In-State's rookie minicamp wraps up today. Check out all our updates from the first weekend of camp for the Black and Gold rookies on WWL.com. Charlie Long, WWL Sports.
Now, your Garcia Roofing forecast on WWL.
Check the messages.
Happy Mother's Day. We'll see some more cloud cover today, feeling a little more humid with our high temperatures getting to the mid-80s in the afternoon. There will be some breaks of sun at times. Most of us staying dry all day, but by tonight we'll start to see some passing showers and rumbles of thunder, especially north of the lake. And then Monday into Tuesday, we'll have some wet and soggy weather coming in. We'll have batches of rain and storms moving in throughout the day Monday, especially later Monday into early Tuesday. We'll see some heavier downpours and a few stronger storms. Watching for maybe some street flooding throughout Monday into early Tuesday. Wednesday should be dry, but by Thursday into Friday, we'll see some more rain and storms. From WWL Louisiana, I'm meteorologist Alexa Trischler.
I'm Chris Miller, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico. Underwritten by Nico and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Art Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back. Hour number 2. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. Give us a call, 260-1870, or text us in the Oakland Heart Talk and Text line at, let's see, 260, let's see, what is it?
260-1870.
1870. Is it 870? Gosh.
260-1870.
There you go, Colin. Thanks for the save again. And I got Michelle joining us at 9 o'clock. We had retired federal magistrate Jay Wilkinson talking about his book, A Lie Will Suffice. And I could have kept him for. He had to get back, and
he's cooking.
He's cooking for his girls. So I could have kept him for the. I'm going to have him for 2 hours because he's one of the most fascinating people I know.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. And happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well deserved. And I was going to ask you some questions. The only thing I didn't get to ask Jay about, he is such a proud West Banker.
You didn't ask him about the West Bank?
No, I didn't have time. His book. I know we talked about it because, his book. We only had a half an hour with him. So, and he was he's a great interview because you just have to ask him a question. He gives you a very, very good explanation.
Right.
But I did forget to ask him, tease him about being from the West Bank because, you went to Dominican, I went to Del Sal.
Right.
It ended up most of my friends from Del Sal were on the West Bank. But before then, my view of the West Bank was I grew up in Metairie.
Metairie?
I know. No, Metairie. And then you would cross the Mississippi River Bridge and you hit the Gulf. Or Grand Isle. That's what I thought.
There was nothing over there.
And then I realized there was, Algiers. There was, and all my friends went to Christ the King, St. Andrew, the Lakewood Country Club. They lived by there. And
yeah, we had some girls from the West Bank.
Yeah, so it was good. So I was, and then I was a fixture in the West Bank. So it was good. But I wanted to tease them because I wanted to find out the landmarks. Because I always, when we talk about,
what do you think the landmarks are?
I don't know. I could tell you the landmarks in Metairie that people don't know about. Because, like people would say, they've.
Oh, you mean the world's biggest shell station?
Yeah. We had North America's largest shell station, the Shell station on the corner of West Esplanade and I think Edenbourne, which I used to take my friends to. We'd, ride up with the glistening waters of West Esplanade and West Metairie, the waterways there. And, of course, the water tower. We would take pictures in front of the water tower.
What water tower?
On the big water tower on Causeway and
Doesn't everybody have a water tower? Doesn't every town have a water tower?
Not like this one. It's always decorated.
I think other towns have them decorated too.
So, but I didn't get to ask them some of the landmarks at West Bank on the West Bank that people may not know about.
Gotcha.
So
yeah,
that'll be for the next one. Okay. See, I don't tell you what we're going to do, but you don't like surprises either. No. So, but I'm not surprising you. Okay. So you're a mom.
Mm-hmm, I am.
You got a bunch of kids. You got a boatload of kids.
Boatload of kids.
And you practice law.
I do.
Okay. Now I will say this. Let's just talk about this a little bit. It is tough, like for you, being a mom, having a law practice, and sort of balancing all that. I mean, that's because it's a little easier for guys because, our roles are a little more defined from the time we were born. Whereas, I think like moms get pulled in a lot of different directions.
Yeah, we do.
And just tell me a little bit about you being a lawyer and being pulled in these directions. How do you balance that? I mean, that seems to be very tough.
I think having my own practice gave me the freedom to, like when the kids were in school, I was able to get home at 3:30, 4 o'clock, unless I had trials or hearings. Mm-hmm. And most of my hearings were in the morning. I worked late at night. I'd work after they went to bed. I think I work more now that nobody's home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think if I had worked for a big firm and I started off that way. I think if I would have continued, I think it would have been much more difficult because I would have been having to punch a clock.
Less flexibility.
Less flexibility. Yeah.
And
I mean, you helped out a lot.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's you have to. I guess the roles were traditionally in times of our grandparents is you had very, very defined roles.
Right.
And, sort of very defined division of labor, as far as household duties and that sort of thing. And right. I think when you have, a mom working, you have to, relook at all those type of.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't multitask and you can't, I think it would have been hard. I'm just a good multitasker.
Gotcha. Now, as a mom, and I'll ask you this also. Practicing, you do a lot of family law and you do a lot of state law. How does your experience as a mom help you in dealing with all these family law issues? Because I always say when it comes to family law, you can win the battle but lose the war.
Sure.
I mean, there's certain things you can fight over that might ruin a family, but you might win versus maybe we should deal with this in a different way, with the long-term trying to preserve your family in a way that they can function post-divorce. Or
I don't really know if it was my role as a mom. I think it's more of my faith. I think it's more of trying to understand why people do what they do and not looking at what they do, but the underlying basis and trying to.
Okay, like give me an example.
Well, most people's actions are driven by fear.
Okay.
And so if you look beyond their actions and see why they're doing what they're doing, you have a better chance of moving them rather than getting stuck in their fear and their anger. If you can get underneath it and figure out why they're doing, you might be able to resolve the problem. Because a lot of people, they're fighting about X, but it's really Y.
Okay. Give me an example of a situation where somebody's fighting about X and Y, and how your experience and how you see things are able to help resolve the fight or resolve the issue.
I think one big thing is people trying to keep a marital home, and they think that they need to be in it because the kids need stability, or and that's the reasons, and so they'll tie themselves up in knots to try to, from a financial standpoint, or even a fighting over it. Both of them want the house, but the truth is that kids are resilient, and it's their fear of leaving that tie that stops them from moving forward. Because most of the times the kids are resilient, and you're wasting your energy to try to keep the same lifestyle that you had, because the kids just wind up being more harmed that way, if that makes sense.
All right. Now, I'm sort of asking you on this Mother's Day. I'm probably asking you some profound questions, but I think they're probably sort of would be interesting to the audience. As a lawyer and a mom, and you see a lot of moms struggling within marriages when they come to us. I mean,
Right.
if they got good, if things are going well, they don't come to lawyers.
Right.
We always say, we see the things as they're sort of falling apart and trying, and maybe be irreparably falling apart. You see a lot of moms in difficult situations and struggling. What are some general recommendations that you would give them to help them get through a difficult family crisis, or a difficult custody situation, or a difficult marriage? What are some of the things that you see would be helpful to them to, help deal with these type of situations where they would not be making self-inflicted wounds and making the situation worse?
Probably the biggest one is don't try to make major decisions right in the beginning.
Okay.
Get your sea legs first. Because it's a huge transition to go from an intact family to single parents. So get your sea legs first. Don't think you need to fix everything right then and there. I think that's one thing about our laws is it gives you a year, well, a little bit over a year, but at least during that pendency period, nobody's expecting a whole lot. Even our court system, even though you might make terrible decisions in the beginning, our judges, at least over here in the 22nd, understand that people are just starting this process, and so they don't, unless it's something horrible, but silly decisions or decisions that might not be in the child's best interest in the beginning, that aren't detrimental, they're not going to be a strike against you, because it takes a while to get used to the process.
Okay. And what do now? Let's if you're talking to, let's say, the husbands in a difficult situation, or struggling in a situation, what would be your advice to them? When it comes to maybe if their marriage is in difficulty and they're going their separate ways. What are some of the things that maybe the husbands could do to not have some self-inflicted wounds make things worse, and try to go to a maybe a resolution. I want to say a resolution, a way that they could coexist in a way that's workable.
I tell both parties, if you can put your own stuff aside and focus on your kids, and get put your anger, put your hurt, put whatever it is on the shelf behind you. If most people focus on what would be the best thing for their kids, they will make the right decision. But when they start thinking about themselves or their fear or what they want or how angry they are at the other side, then that's where they're going to start making bad decisions.
Okay, now you do bring a difficult, interesting point about, I guess, their own stuff. Do you see at times where it's very, very let me think about it this way. If mom and dad have disputes against each other, where do what is the role in the kids? I mean, should they be telling the kids about the
No, you
dispute,
shouldn't be
or
telling the
that's what?
kids anything. And it's kind of like it's kind of like even when you're married, you might have a fight, you might have issues, but those issues aren't your marriage. Your marriage is you and your husband. So the same thing is when you're trying to dissolve it. They're just issues. Your kids have nothing to do with it. They should know nothing. I grew up with in a broken home. My parents were divorced. I had no idea until I got to be a lawyer that there were custody judgments, that there was child support stuff. My sister and I knew none of that. Nothing.
And that probably mitigated a lot,
Well, yeah.
some of the difficulty of that, right?
Well, yeah. And so I always tell people, your kids shouldn't really know any of that.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, and especially a lot of these parents these days, they're younger, they're not wise. They micromanage. You took 5 minutes, I went 5 minutes back. I mean,
Petty. Yeah.
Horrible.
And now, I guess too, when you have these petty fights, they're very expensive.
Extremely expensive.
Yes.
Extremely. But some people don't care. Some people will spend their last dollar to fight for a kid, and it's not about fighting for their best interest. It's just to use
Fighting
them as
to
a
win.
pawn. Fighting to win. And the truth is the minute somebody files for divorce and you have children, everybody's lost.
Okay. I'm gonna ask you one other question for moms, because I think being a family lawyer, you can see, how things go sideways, and how things, and why they go sideways. You sort of see the foundation that was laid for that, and also to your mom, your grandmother. What advice would you have for mothers in today's day and age that would be helpful to them, dealing with the, like the difficulties of life as far as, children, grandchildren, work, and balancing all that out? What would you say is important, to be, to have all that balance and have it work? What advice would you give a young mom?
Oh, wow.
That's profound. Or I can go to a break and let you think about it.
Yeah, let me think about that.
All right, so we're going to go to a break, and then we'll get some wisdom from, because you do see a lot, and you can see, because as far as being what we do on the family law side, you can see how a family can break down, and you can see some of the things that happen that a lot of them are correctable. I mean, that you just have to make some adjustments, and it's not fatal. In some cases. In some cases it is irreparable by far. But okay, after the break, we'll get wisdom from Michelle on some of these mom issues on Mother's Day. So, you didn't think I was going to put you to work this hard this morning,
my brain hurts.
Your brain's hurting right now. So, there you go. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest, Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back on this Mother's Day edition in about after this brief time out. I'm sorry. What you telling me? I just thought I was pretty good. Let's no, you are. You're us. I would say, you would say, who would you tell you?
WWL, home of Saints legends Bobby Hebert and Deuce McAllister. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Get ready for Tay in the
Okay, well,
UK.
this is good now, House.
You could win a once-in-a-lifetime
Get-
trip to four to see
okay.
Taylor Swift August 17th.
Get
in
someone
London,
wise in
England,
your life to help you walk
including
through it.
4-night hotel stay and round-trip airfare. To enter to win,
Someone who's
download
been
the
there
free Odyssey app and log
to walk
in and listen to WWL for 1 hour. Only one entry per day.
To
Tay in the UK National Contest. Thanks to
there you
Republic
go,
Records.
social media. Okay.
Log in and listen now to WWL.
Oh, honey, it's our favorite leaf filter trusted pro, Matt. Matt, come in, come in.
Hi, Mrs. Sparks.
You've
You
been
wanted me to
through it.
stop by? Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay, of
Good luck
course,
with
silly.
that.
We wanted you to stop by for dinner
Okay.
as our way of thanking you.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and
I
what
would
was the other
say-
thing?
That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every Leaf Filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
You know.
They just need to visit leaffilter.com/sports
Yes,
to
there you
schedule
go.
their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard.
Ready to love your gutter
There you
protection
go.
as much as we do? Visit
I didn't
leaffilter.com/sports and get up to 30% off today.
Did not have
See
time to
representative for
ask
warranty
you that.
details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10%
It
senior
was
rental
on my
discount. One
list
discount
of
per household.
questions.
Is the IRS
period.
on your back?
The Wabbit
Hi,
is
this
awesome.
is Caitlin with Go Tax Resolution. If you've received a letter from the
It's a
IRS or
boss.
state
It's Del
demanding
Wabbit,
payment for
DA.
back taxes, give the pros at Go Tax Resolution a call. Our team of former IRS agents and passionate resolution specialists will get to work right away. Owing the IRS can be scary, but you don't have to do it alone. Give us a call today at 985-722-1040 and let us give you peace of mind. Or go online to gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
Hi,
I
I'm
was looking
Sam with
at my
GoTax
number.
Resolution. Some claims for the Employee Retention Tax Credit will expire this year. Now is the time to call and see if you qualify. Call GoTax Resolution at 985-722-1040 before they expire. The Employee Retention Tax Credit is a refund that businesses may qualify for if they maintain their employees during the pandemic. Some credits will expire this year. Contact GoTax Resolution at 985-722-1040 or gotaxresolution.com. That's GEAUX taxresolution.com.
Hit the Grand Slam jackpot
I'll
with
read this.
BetMGM. Score a $50,000 bonus bet jackpot when a player you bet on to hit
Huh?
a homer slugs a Grand Slam. Simply head over to BetMGM and place a home run prop bet for any of this weekend's games. If the player you bet on goes yard with the bases loaded, you'll win a share of $50,000 in bonus bets on top of your wager. Take advantage of great home run odds, new ways to enjoy all 9 innings with more same-game parlay options, and exclusive signature bets found nowhere else. Log into BetMGM or create your account to place a bet on a player to knock one over the fence
Hi,
this
pronounce
weekend.
that.
Swing for the
Seville.
Grand Slam jackpot this season with
Seville.
BetMGM, official sports betting partner of the MLB. BetMGM and
Seville.
GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older to wager. Louisiana only. New and existing customer offer. Subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Samstown Shreveport Casino.
Like me, I'm sure most of you folks out there don't mind doing stuff to maintain and protect your home, but getting up on a ladder to clean out gutters might be the last thing any of us want to take on. Well, right now is the perfect time to upgrade to a permanent solution with Leaf Filter. Dealing with gutters is way more complicated than it seems, and I know you can do something wrong that could cost you more in the end. An investment in Leaf Filter is an investment engineered to aid your home from flooding, roof damage, rotting siding, foundation issues, and more.
Yes.
Protect your home and never clean out gutters again with Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system. Schedule your free inspection and get up to 30% off your entire purchase at leaffilter.com/gutter. That's a free inspection and up to 30% off at leaffilter.com/gutter. See representative for warranty details. Promotions 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
If you're like most people in New Orleans, when you give a gift, you want it to be something that will be remembered, cherished for a lifetime. Down here, gifts are a chance to not only make someone happy, but to create memories. For so many of us, the gifts that truly mean something have come from Open Heart Jewelers. Listen to this review from Brett. Over the years, my family and I have bought cherished items from Open Heart that'll remain in our family for generations. I wouldn't think of going anywhere else. And Caroline said, Allie did a phenomenal job working with my fiance and family on my engagement ring. Her knowledge, positivity, and genuine care in helping us to make our decision made it such a wonderful and stress-free process. Give a gift that will be treasured for years to come. Beautiful, handcrafted jewelry from Oakland Heart. Visit our Metairie Road showroom, where you will find gifts in every price range for all the special people in your life. There's a great work of art in every box from Oakland Heart. come see us on Metairie Road.
I was afraid to cut the cord, but once I did, I couldn't believe it took so long to do it. Paying too much for my cable bill had become a bad habit. I either wasn't getting what I wanted or never knew where to find any of my favorite shows.
It had a show. It said,
Plus, the prices just kept going up. Thankfully, I discovered a new way to watch.
It's a Spectrum commercial.
For just $25 a month, I can catch all my favorite shows on networks like
All right, back in about 30.
Okay.
TV and TLC. It even has Nickelodeon for my kids.
I got some good music queued up.
Anywhere I want. Plus, Philo lets me have up to 3 streams at once, so everyone can watch what they want at the same time. Throw in the unlimited DVR that saves all my favorites for up to a year, and this really is the best deal in TV. I just wish I hadn't waited so long. Sound too good to be true? Well, try it out for yourself, and you'll see why people who love TV love Philo. Go to philo.tv, that's philo.tv, and start your 7-day free trial now.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nico and Sunseri now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri on this Mother's Day edition of All Things Legal. Okay, we're going to pivot for a second. Now, we had Jay Wilkinson, who was our guest in the first hour, but he had to leave because he had to do Mother's Day. And so there's a list of questions I didn't get to ask him, really about Shaw High School in the West Bank. I really wanted, and the Red Sox, too. He's a big Red Sox fan like myself. And so one of the things we were talking about when we came back for the second hour is the West Bank, East Bank deal. Because Jay Wilkinson's from the West Bank, Tommy Tucker's from the West Bank. So we're always doing the West Bank, East Bank deal.
Okay.
And like I said, when I went to Dallas Alamo first week, I thought you crossed the Greater New Orleans Bridge and you hit Grand Isle. That's all I knew. And then I became a great, admirer of the West Bank in all ways. So we were talking about our landmarks of the East Bank, such as,
Your list was much shorter.
My list was shorter.
I'm looking at his list.
Right. And so I will add a couple of things to the canals of West Esplanade and West Metairie. North America's largest shell station for a while. I'll add to that. We have R&O's in Bucktown, which UJ Molaire. Great food. We have, let's see, what else do we have? Oh, the Bonneville Boat Launch.
Oh, yeah.
They got a dog park out there now. Do you believe that?
Yeah. No.
And so they got the Bonneville, and they had KBL for the Kenner people. We used to call it KBL, Kenner Boat Launch. And so, but the judge, who is now preparing for his Mother's Day celebration, gave a list of West Bank landmarks. St. Joseph's Church and Shrine in Gretna, the Cathedral of the West Bank. If Gail Benson hears this, she might want to go renovate that.
She might.
In fact, it would probably be just as historic as renovating St. Louis Cathedral. So, Miss Gail, if you're listening to it, maybe that'll be your next project, huh? Hope Haven Historic Buildings in Marrero, soon to be renovated. Okay. All right. The old historic Savelle,
I don't know if it's
near the West Wego Riverfront. The Gretna City Hall, which you pass when you go to the court on the 24th.
Right.
Original DiMartino's in Terrytown.
Is that where that started? Because we have a DiMartino's in Covington.
Do we? Yeah, it had to be. Yeah, because the West Bank was, it was a heavy concentration at the time of muffaladas, or people who made muffaladas.
Would that be Italians?
Italians, absolutely. Johnny's Seafood in Marrero, the best boiled seafood. And this is one we know from law school, DeWabbit, DAWABBIT.
Never went there.
It's about a mile from the courthouse. And we went after our bar exam. We went to DeWabbit, which is...
You crossed the bridge after your bar exam?
Yeah, we were we went swimming at Robert Grant's house, and then we went to the Wabbit, and we had a few adult beverages. So it was a one of it is great. I'm trying to think who would be comparable to the Wabbit on the East Bank.
I don't know. I've never been there, so I can't tell you.
It's great. So the judge said he would provide a longer list if necessary. So I think the West Bank may be winning right now in our landmarks.
I'm thinking it is.
So we'll see. I guess people could text in and let us know. Yeah. The other thing, just fun. It's Mother's Day. I got a little heavy with you before, so we'll lighten it up a little bit. But Judge, when we had the 100-year celebration for WWL, we had a party downtown, and we had to get up and tell a story about the influence of WWL on the community. And so my story was involving Judge Wilkinson. Now this is
I know the story.
I know it's a fantastic story, but if you're a Seinfeld fan, Seinfeld. This ties into it. They had a episode with Mel Torme where Kramer was wearing a strength shoe that was
they saw that the other day.
Yeah, we saw that in strength shoe, and then he fell, and they thought he had some kind of cognitive issue. And Mel Torme sort of friended him as in connection with thinking that Kramer had a disability, and honored him at some kind of banquet and sang to him. So, but he was wearing this strength shoe that he was trying to train with. Okay. It was a shoe with a platform. Well, we had a trial in front of Judge Wilkinson with this involving this strength shoe because one of our clients had owned it, and they had a little trademark dispute. And I think it was during the middle of the trial. WWL called me and said, we have an issue with Drew Brees, and we need you on Sports Talk in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Can you available? And I'm like, guys, and we were actually doing a bathroom break because I remember I was in the stall literally, and I see WWL corporate pop up, and I said, guys, I'm in a trial. I mean, I got a job, but, and then I said, who is my judge? And I think it's Judge Wilkinson. I said, I'm going to call you back in 10 minutes. I might be able to pull this off. So and the lawyers from Los Angeles, and these were California lawyers, sort of full of themselves, real formal, just not very likable. And so I asked for a bench. I said, Judge.
Asked for a bench.
Yeah, a bench conference when we got back. I said, I have a very unusual request. I said, across the street, they want me on Sports Talk for 15 minutes to talk about a Drew Brees contract situation. Can we have a recess while I do that? And I'm sort of holding my breath, and his words were, by all means, you can have my desk, you can have my office. The only condition is I get to listen to the interview. To the amazement of the LA lawyers, who were like, what in the heck is going on here?
Y'all got a recess, huh?
We recessed to do a WWL interview, did the interview, and we finished things up. So that was the 100-year story. That was our story that we had to tell at the they gave us the microphone. And so that was a good story. But we're sort of going back to a little bit I guess we'll pivot back to Mother's Day. Let me ask you if you had advice for moms who maybe are struggling, or some of the things they can do in a difficult situation when they come to your office, or someone else's office going through some difficult times, looking for legal advice. What are some of the things they could do to sort of walk through these times and maybe get through it in a way that's not so harmful?
Probably one of the best things is to make sure you have either a wise mentor or somebody wise who can walk you through these things in life. Sometimes I know my clients' faiths, so if it's that way, we'll talk about just not trying to take life in your own hands. But typically, or everybody needs somebody wise to bounce ideas off. To if it's not your mom, it's not your grandmother, it has to be somebody older and more mature in your life that's wise. Because I'm these days, I don't know, it seems like these young moms and their kids, I mean, they get everything from social media, and it's we have TikTok moms, and I don't know. I just see I just see the quality of mothering going down. Really.
And when you say that, what are some of the concerns you see? Or things that they, maybe need to address too?
I think relying on what they see and hear on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I think they think if it's out there, it's true and it's real and it's, and it's there seems to just be a lot of discontent in people's lives because they see other lives that probably aren't even real, and they compare it to that, and I don't know. I just see a lot of discontented parents and moms out there.
Yeah. No, because, it's very interesting when, I don't do as much family law, but when I used to see, like, when you go through a initial consult, you can see whether these problems are fixable or not. Because, when you have things involving, alcohol abuse, drug abuse, domestic violence, those are non-negotiable.
Right.
Non-negotiable. You gotta take cover and do what you need to do. But sometimes there's issues regarding, why do you want to get divorced? Well, I fell out of love.
Right.
And after I want to, insert my index finger in the back of my throat and start gagging, I don't do that. And I say, okay, you fell out of love. What does that mean? And, she's no longer my sun, my moon, my stars, and my sunrise. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yes,
and
he no longer makes me happy.
And so at that point, it's really about a change of perspective and a change of expectations as to, what is the purpose? What do you expect from your marriage, and what shouldn't you expect?
Yeah, but you'll know when you're sitting with people whether you can have that conversation or not. Some
right.
people
Some people you can't. Right. You got to be very wise about it.
Sure.
And you can think about that. But, a lot of times you can have, I remember one of the last ones I had was a husband and wife, and they both came from families, not intact families. So they really didn't have a understanding as to what marriage was about.
Right.
And, we did spend a couple hours together just talking about that. And, I think what happened is they left with the realization that they were doing okay. And what they were doing was, as you were saying, they were looking at unrealistic portrayals of other people's marriage, which were not true.
Right.
And they were comparing themselves to that. And once they sort of got out of that mindset, they realized that they did enjoy. They didn't agree on everything.
Sure, and you don't have to agree on everything.
But they did have a good foundation for a good marriage and a good family. It's just that their perception of it was it should have been something else.
Yeah, I think the message that people get today is that marriages are disposable.
Right.
And if you're not happy, start over.
That's it. That's what.
But the problem is you can't run from yourself.
That's right. You're going to have the same problems
in the next one, unless you fix it.
If you don't have a realization. Okay, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
With my fancies, I'll be with you.
What did he put down?
That was Todd Murphy.
Home of WWL First News Early Edition with Dave Cohen.
That's Arno. The owners of Arno. It's my little friend, UJ.
When I was elected sheriff of Jefferson,
we got a caller. Do you want to try to take it, or do you want?
Yeah, who's caller?
We got Ernie from Bogalusa calling about disability.
Okay.
Every day I gave everything to live up to that promise. Hey,
we also had a text message forever ago asking Michelle specifically, is it possible to have an attorney handle the sale of your house, contents, and car, etc., then for the money received from sale donated to a church or charity per instructions in will? I don't have any family to handle this.
We all hear the radio ads.
They're trying to handle a house.
They tell you to be afraid, to be scared,
and
they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here
take
to do
that one next.
Tax Relief Advocates is
We'll
different.
take the call and then
TRA
we'll
is here to
do
tell
that
you
one.
that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
What's this?
Generous
MA.
programs are now
Katie.
available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hit the Grand Slam jackpot with BetMGM. Score a $50,000 bonus bet jackpot when a player you bet on to hit a homer slugs a Grand Slam. Simply head over to BetMGM and place a home run prop bet for any of this weekend's games. If the player you bet on goes yard with the bases loaded, you'll win a share of $50,000 in bonus bets on top of
It's
your
Ernie?
wager.
Ernie from Bogalusa?
Home run odds, new ways to enjoy
Yeah, Ernie from Bogalusa calling about disability.
options, and exclusive signature bets found nowhere else. Log into BetMGM or create your account to
Yeah, the breaks in this hour because of the first hour are like
Yeah, I know. We ran long.
BetMGM, official sports betting partner of the
It's almost like you would have loved to talk to him for like 7 hours with no breaks.
.com for terms. 21 years of age or older.
We did a 4-hour segment with him before, and I didn't. When we did the post-hurricane coverage, I had him on the whole time, and he was
in partnership with Samstown Shreveport Casino. Spring is in the air, and that
He was great on air. Like he sounded like he could have been on for another 3 hours.
Yeah, I know. It was, and I really didn't get into the story. I just got into little parts of it. His beloved aunt, who was on trial for murder, shot someone in the back 4 times and beat the rap.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
You don't have to be a law student to know that if you're shot by a woman 4 times in the back, you know what the man was doing, or what the woman found out. Well, in this case, she was married.
I
He was married.
I don't know how she gets away with that.
At Bayou Marine Electronics on Paris Road in Chalmette or at BayouMarine.com.
Are you a business owner doing your own?
So Ernie's still on?
Why?
Yes.
Okay.
Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited.
Yeah, if we have time here, we can do the text.
We'll see. I can probably fake it.
Is insanely affordable, and
I know enough to answer
call for a
it.
free quote.
Huh?
Accounting Services Unlimited.
I know enough to get 30 seconds.
717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
This attorney
Here, I'll do music to rejoin for this segment.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Attorney Michelle Demarest Sunseri.
What do you want music wise?
Unique family law differences resulting in divorce and custody.
Mamma Mia.
Also, we learned Mamma Mia.
ABBA.
Powers of attorney.
At Nico and Sunseri Law Firm, we make the complex understandable.
Call me at my Metairie office at 504-837-1304.
Or call me, the boss lady, on the North Shore in Mandeville at 985-624-9697. 5-624-9697.
Boss lady, really?
Finding the perfect way to say, "Will you marry me?"
Boss lady.
Finding a diamond engagement
Boss
ring
lady.
that will leave her
Boss lady's
speechless?
back.
Easy. Just head over to Oakland Heart.
I like that one.
Our
Yeah.
dedicated
The ones that you guys do are always
you
good.
choose an engagement ring that is truly one of a kind.
I
Here's the thing that
I learned from
surprises
Emil Goche.
Heart's exquisite handcrafted diamond engagement rings
Yeah,
designed
that's his
by
style of writing for a
award-winning
commercial.
master craftsmen can actually cost you less. There's a great work of art in every box from Oakland Heart on Metairie Road.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to
Oh, she's
frighten
just
you
getting
into
in?
calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different.
I definitely think we take the caller, we go straight to him, and
Yeah.
then we,
Yeah, we'll go.
if I need to, he gets his, question
Yeah.
out or whatever, and then I kind of mute him, and you take it from there.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll get in and out.
Call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope.
I don't know.
TRA
I
can
don't think so.
eliminate or
Unless,
reduce
am I in
what
the
you
way?
owe to the IRS. Generous programs
Am I
are
in the
now
way?
available that can give you a fresh start.
I'll
Our
try.
passion is taxes and helping
think she's-
individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google
You
and
check.
Plus with the
I'll
Better
take-
Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions.
You said you're gonna go to, or you're thinking about going to a Pirates game?
No, we're going in July.
Your favorite team is
When and where? In Pittsburgh or somewhere else?
Pittsburgh. July 25th, 4th,
Just for
6th.
skiing, is it?
Yeah, we're gonna go see Pittsburgh play. Yeah.
You gotta hope that he's playing.
Well, we're taking my dad and my dad's dad.
Hey, we're coming back. I'm gonna just 5 seconds. Coming back to you.
My dad's
No music or music. There we go.
In July for that trip to Pittsburgh with Jack, me, Dean, Moses. In July, like 27. Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Ernie in Bugaloosa. He's got a question regarding disability. Hey, Ernie, you on all things legal? What you got, Ernie?
Where do I go to apply for my disability?
For is it employer? It's not an insurance policy, but just for Social Security. Did you work?
No.
Did you work? Have you worked, Ernie?
Yes.
How old are you?
73.
Are you on Social Security now? Have you been in the VA? Are you a veteran?
Yeah. I mean, no.
No. Okay. Well, I think you're receiving Social Security benefits, right?
Right.
For old age, and I don't know that you would be entitled to any additional Social Security unless you have an employer plan. Any other information that you can give me to help you?
No.
Well, I think if you're receiving Social Security from your employee contributions, I don't know that there would be a separate disability category for you to apply. I think the Social Security would take care of that. But if you got any questions, I would recommend you stop by your Social Security office that's local. I think they have one in Bugaloosa, and give them your information, and they'll be glad to help you out there. All right, thanks for the call, Ernie. Good luck to you. All right, we have a text that says, Michelle, is it possible for an attorney to handle the sale of your house, contents, car, etc.? Then the money received from the sale donated to a church or charity as per your instructions in a will. I don't have any family to handle this. Thank you. Basically, I think what they're asking is, I guess we'll interpret the question as, can you donate any parts of your estate to a charity?
Sure, you can do that. You can put it in your will. We do it all the time.
Yeah. So if you want to donate, and in fact, there's
Yeah, I mean, you can even give explicit instructions to your administrator as to what you want to sell, what you don't want to sell.
Yeah.
You just make sure the instructions are clear.
Yeah, and also too for charities, just be specific, because like if you say the SPCA, there's level a lot of different.
I always make sure that we can at least, if my testator knows, we get like the EIN number, we get the address, we get the name, we get as much information as we can.
So there's no dispute as to whether it's the local SPCA or the
and I always suggest do a backup, do a successor, and in case it's some obscure nonprofit that all of a sudden isn't in existence anymore, you have a backup.
There you go. All right, let's go to our final break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out. No, Jack and I, Dean,
WWL, home of WWL First News with Tommy Tucker. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
I think it's the
Get the WWL shows you love delivered to your phone free. Download the Odyssey app and follow your favorites. Bobby Hebert, Mike Detillier, Steve Geller. Listen when you want, how you want. Or tell your smart speaker, play WWL.
Yeah.
WWL is proudly sponsored by Dudley DeBosier Injury Lawyers. Call 444-4444. That's 444-4444. Non-attorney spokesperson Chad Dudley, New Orleans.
No. It's let's see, Sunday. No, we're going to leave Sunday. We'll be back Wednesday. No, we're not. I told him I got to come back Wednesday.
The homemade taste of bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Our cookie two-step ice cream is a creamy vanilla ice cream with hints of brown.
We got one last text to kind of finish out the show if you want.
Chocolate chip cookie dough pieces. Cookie two-step has everybody's taste buds two-stepping. And 1 and 2.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Happy birthday, Michelle. You too, Doug. I've heard you called a mother many
grocery store.
If you're building a new home or buying a new home from a builder, you need to be aware of Louisiana's New Home Warranty Act. It sets forth strict deadlines to make claims against the builder for defects in construction. If you don't provide the builder with proper notice, you can lose your right to...
Yeah, what does that mean?
I know.
Text?
Sort of a backhand.
I know. Who is that?
I don't know.
As soon as you discover a
I'm going to put that number in my...
You mean motherfucker? Like,
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, that's not very nice.
568.
It's her first Mother's Day
Let's
or
see.
her 40th. She deserves more. Shop tons of stunning on-trend jewelry for every budget at Diamonds Direct.
Let me see who that is.
Fashion jewelry, beautiful birthstones, everyday pearls, starting at just $200.
Michelle, you know that there's a big LSU game today.
I know.
Gorgeous pendant.
We watched
featuring
yesterday.
birthstone of the one who made
He's gonna.
What time does it start?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Yeah, that's what everybody's coming over today.
Your love, our passion. Online at diamondsdirect.com.
Well, at least you'll have next Sunday. You could always do Mother's Day Part 2 next Sunday, considering they don't play.
That's okay. We have a TV outside.
Number one, they want a great price.
568 8335.
All right, so it's gonna be kind of like last hour, Doug. We're gonna have less than a minute here.
Okay.
Very quick.
Chevrolet on Veterans Boulevard, where Metairie meets Kenner, or bestchevrolet.com. Best Chevrolet, a proud member of the Gail Benson Automotive family of dealerships.
Finding the perfect way to say, will
That's
you
interesting.
marry me? Hard. Finding a diamond engagement ring that will leave her speechless? Easy. Just head over to Oakwyn Hart Jewelers. Our dedicated staff will help you choose an engagement ring that is truly one of a kind, made with ethically sourced natural diamonds. Just listen to this review from Heath. We cannot say enough good things about Oakwyn Hart. Anthony made our experience picking an engagement ring so perfect and special without any pressure or stress at all. And Danielle said, everyone here is really nice and friendly. The guy who helped with our wedding ring set still remembers us after 15 years. And here's the thing that surprises everyone. Oakwyn Hart's exquisite handcrafted diamond engagement rings, designed by our award-winning master craftsmen, can actually cost you less. How is that even possible? Because we buy our diamonds right from the source. Ta-ta, middleman. There's a great work of art in every box from Oakwyn Hart on Metairie Road.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's
Doesn't
termite
come
season.
up.
Did you know termites are responsible
Wow.
for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah. Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 475-2323.
LA 121-12674. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Call 475-2323.
Rejuvenate Medical, now open in D'Iberville, Mississippi. RejuveneMedical.com.
Flow Resources, complete employer solutions. FlowResources.com.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1216. 800-499-1216. 800-499-1216.
Stands on golden sand.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. Final happy Mother's Day, Michelle.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day to your mom, Sharon, Linda, sister
Suzanne,
Dara, Katie, and Madison. So happy Mother's Day. Y'all have a great day. And I'm sorry you're gonna have to work a little bit today. I'll try to mitigate that as much as we can. But thanks. So we'll see you next week on All Things Legal. Y'all have a great week. All you moms, just rest, enjoy your day, and thank y'all very much for all you do. And we'll see you next week on All Things Legal. Stay tuned for LSU 12:30 pregame, 1 p.m. first pitch. See you then. Go Tigers.
The News Talk Sports Powerhouse.